Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our webinar for the month of March with Summer Institute for the Gifted. Cutting it close on March 31st, but so happy you all are with us. Just to make sure that you're all in the right place, my name is Nicole Wolf. I work with Summer Institute for the Gifted and Summer Discovery. I will be your host for this evening. This is an insider's perspective, the value of research skills development for academic and emotional growth. And before we go ahead and introduce you to the wonderful young lady on the screen with me, we're going to do a few housekeeping items. So first thing, in your control panel next to your name, you'll see a little icon that has a hand raise. If you all participants could click that hand raise icon for me to let me know that you can hear me and that you can see our cameras, that would be most helpful. Perfect. I'm seeing a lot of hand raising. That is great. Thank you so much. You can lower them for me. Glad to know that technology is working. We always want to make sure that's happening. Another thing that I want to bring up is that once this webinar is complete, within 24 hours, you will receive a copy of the recording. And any friends that you had registered that can't make it tonight, they will receive the recording as well. I do want to let you know, though, that while Lexi and I are live in a Q&A tonight, there will be no formal Q&A with participants. We just wanted to get to know Lexi and have a chance for you all to get to know her as well. If you do want to submit questions, if you have any about the program in particular, you can submit questions through the questions box, and they will be answered by our staff within the next 24 hours. Just know that they may not be answered live here in our webinar this evening. So, all right, what you've all been waiting for. I've done my housekeeping items. So now I am going to introduce, like I said, the wonderful young lady that is on screen with me. This is Lexi Mauricio. Lexi is a 2020 SIG alumni and completed her program with us around the age of 12. During her time at SIG, she conducted a research experiment with her peers that led her to becoming the youngest presenter to present at a professional medical conference that November. At home, if you want to give snaps to Lexi for that, we're so proud of her. Since SIG, Lexi has gone on to earn many more achievements and flex her research muscles, and she'll share more on that with you tonight. But she is a remarkable, accomplished, bright, and kind young woman, and I am so excited to share this time with her this evening and to share her with you out in the audience. So Lexi, welcome to our webinar this month. I'm so glad you're here with us, and thank you so much for taking this time with me.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Nicole. I'm excited.
Good, I'm excited too. All right, you ready to jump into our questions?
Yes, Ms. Nicole.
All right, Lexi, let's do this. So first, as a lot of Q&As and kind of interviews start, which is like we're doing here, why don't you go ahead and tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. I'm a little nervous, but I hope I can share with you all the blessings I received as I learned about research and things that interest us. When I was in the 6th grade, I was selected to attend the Summer Institute for the Gifted in the summer of 2020. I was very excited to attend the courses at the campuses at Yale University. I already had my plane tickets and home boarding arrangements, but unfortunately the pandemic happened. Despite this big problem, SIG was able to convert all their courses online. At the time, online classes were not that common, but I'm so glad that SIG was able to give the courses virtually. And I think the teachers and lecturers and the students did a very good job. We were all able to accomplish our goals. I signed up for 3 classes. Each class was 2 weeks long. These classes were the top 3 that interested me. And it was also perfect timing. They were the ones I chose. They prepared me for things to come. Moving ahead a little bit, recently, last weekend, I participated in the National Junior High Academic Decathlon. I was blessed to win first place in the literature category. And during the same weekend, I received another blessing, this time in the sciences, for my research efforts. I was given the Science Achievement Award by the California Association of Professional Scientists, and I was awarded first prize in the Northern California STEM Fair in the Biology and Health Sciences category. I started doing research and entered science competitions in 5th grade when we were in Long Island, New York. My classmate and I partnered. We took time to think of ideas. We won first place in our school science fair, and then we won at the Long Island Diocesan Science Fair. This was the start of me being interested in researching and the scientific process. Outside of school and academics, I love learning new things. I love spending time with my family. I enjoy basketball and martial arts. Our school's basketball team is a co-ed team of boys and girls, and we competed with the all boys teams. And that was fun and gave us a unique experience and confidence.
Lexi, you are a very, very busy woman, but I am so proud to hear all of these accomplishments that you've had even since SIG. I mean, I'm just beaming over here. I'm just so proud of you. That is incredible. And to have time too for recreational activities, you just balance it all, and that's so wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. Nicole.
So tell us about how the SIG program and the courses you enrolled in kind of helped you move into explorations with advanced research.
Well, the courses that I chose for SIG were graphic design, leadership, and engineering, and each was 2 weeks long. By the way, I can only imagine if they were all in person. I'm so happy the option of in-person classes is available this year. This will definitely add more to the students' experience and learning, and we will meet new friends in person. In each class from the start, we were given a task to be presented at the end of the course. We needed to research and learn from formal teaching from the SIG teachers. The final presentation or dissertation is called the culminating product. Everyone presents their work to everybody. It was exciting and I was nervous, but I learned a lot. In my graphic design class, the skills and knowledge I learned was how to communicate ideas and results visually. And visual presentation is one of the most effective ways to share our thoughts and our findings. In the leadership course, I learned about public speaking skills. Aside from having a great research idea and carrying out our experiments and arriving at results, a big part of research work is how to communicate procedures and results properly and effectively to others. Public speaking also means using PowerPoint presentations and using trifolds. We need to determine the best way to present data, how others can read the results easily, what types of graphs and pictures need to be included. The leadership course also made me understand the structures of an organization and how the members of the team work together. Aside from the research, leadership class also prepared me to be my school's student council president. Essentially, we need to work together humbly with each other, set goals, and work on them. The engineering course was really great for teaching us problem solving and critical thinking skills, so us, the students, have open minds for new ideas. An example was when I had an unexpected outcome during my STEM experiment. I had to determine what I did incorrectly, a way to solve this problem, how to continue with the project, and what could I have done better. Critical thinking is asking, what can I do to complete my goal? How can I carry out the plan? These questions apply to both engineering and research. Engineering also made me curious about the world when learning about how things are made. Being curious is also an important skill when performing research. About the final culminating product in all these classes, I can say that the plan or the product should be creative, something new, or something that adds to a concept, that adds a new concept to an old one. But more importantly, I think it should be reasonable and attainable. Creating something attainable is to have goals that can be accomplished in a specific time that is allowed. In the classes, the time was only 2 weeks. And in carrying out experiments and research, we need to be mindful of the time that is given to us. We need to find projects that are workable, easy to carry out, and find resources and tools to do so. The courses at SIG helped me with my STEM projects since I needed to design experiments that are reasonable to carry out. We were taught to also brainstorm for our culminating products. I learned several ways to do so, visually, like using mind maps and web maps. And when you find a certain idea to research, it is important to consider different ways of doing it, and we need to be prepared for all possible outcomes. Learning these research skills made me more confident in thinking. I can reach out and talk to people who are experts in the field, talk to teachers, and work with other kids my age. Research made me persevere in the scientific process. I like to repeat that after designing and carrying out an amazing project, it needs to be presented and shared with others in an effective way. I think the reason why I won in the Northern California STEM Fair this year is that I kept on reviewing, editing, and trimming my talking points concisely, and working on a good visual presentation.
Lexi, I'm just blown away because research is something that's so fundamental, right? Like when we think of research, we think of a science fair project or, like a college term paper, sitting in the library, getting articles and books and putting all this information together. But I think what you help tie into, I think even a more beautiful picture is just the life skills that research leads to. Like you said, being able to brainstorm, even just get your ideas on paper, especially when there could be a ton floating in your head, dealing with the unexpected, how to pivot when faced with conflict or when faced with something that doesn't go the way you planned, being able to connect to and speak with others. All of that combined based in research, I think really just opens the door to see how fundamental these skills are, how essential they create these life skills that can just put you onto a path of success outside of even just traditional research realms. So I really appreciate you tying all of that together and to have that maturity to see all that. And it's just so exciting the way you were able to pull all of that together and really move into those different explorations of research areas.
Thank you, Ms. Nicole.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to our next question. So I think kind of in speaking with that and being able to make all these connections, tell us how you transferred some of your learning from SIG into research areas of interest, especially lately.
My 3 SIG classes actually worked well all together. The first course I took was leadership. We were asked to think of leading an organization and how we can build it for our culminating products. After some research and thinking and getting feedback from the SIG teachers and the SIG students, I thought of the Helping Hands project. It was the creation of a student-led organization that collects and distributes food for the less fortunate in my hometown, the city of Sacramento. So in leadership, I conceptualized and presented the basic structure of a volunteer organization and how we, the students or team members, would carry out our mission. In my engineering class, in the same food and distribution organization, I conceptualized and created a portable food heater box made of styrofoam and powered by solar energy, so the less fortunate can receive warm meals from our group, Helping Hands. And in my graphic design class, I designed posters and flyers stating the mission of Helping Hands using Canva. Canva is a graphic design program or app that I learned how to use at SIG. These things from SIG all prepared me for one of my exciting research works. In 2020, I finished my research with the help of my classmates in school and in martial arts school and my teachers. It is entitled, "Do Children That Play Video Games Perform Better in Surgery?" I used brainstorming skills obtained from SIG. I spoke to my parents, to experts in the field who are university professors. Briefly, I had 32 students who were grouped into 2. They all completed a series of laparoscopic surgical tasks. We found out the kids who play more than the average time playing video games, they completed the task quicker compared to kids who played less. I was able to also find some secondary findings. After completing the experimental research, I won our school's STEM fair, and then I entered the project in the Northern California STEM fair, but it was unfortunately canceled due to the pandemic. After talking to my parents, I decided to submit my research to the Global Convention of the American Association of Gynecologic Laparoscopic Surgeons. They knew I was 12 years old then. They graded the research with the standards set for physicians and surgeons, and they accepted my work to be presented in Colorado. I used the graphics design skills I learned to create a PowerPoint presentation to show the processes in carrying out my project and the data I found. I incorporated the knowledge, skills, and thought process learned from engineering class as well. And thanks to culminating product presentations, I was prepared on how to record a voiceover and how to speak in public to deliver my presentation the best I could. It was truly a fun experience. The work is now published in the Journal of Minimally Invasive Gynecology via Science Direct. The Surgical Society also gave me the humble honor of being featured in their magazine and interviewed during the plenary session. And for this year, my project is entitled, Does Vitamin C Have Antibacterial Effects in Water? Again, with brainstorming, researching in the library, thinking for days and weeks, I was able to come up with this experiment. For weeks, I thought about different science projects that interested me. Since we have the present awareness of viruses, infection, and bacteria, I wondered about the 5-second rule, and I was interested in testing levels of bacteria in food. I was thinking of a workable research project, so I thought of common things that we consume and common things we take, such as water and vitamins. Aside from nutritional benefits, with my research in the library, I found that vitamin C has antibacterial properties. I found the bacteria Escherichia coli, also known as E. coli, can be found in water. It can be dangerous to humans if consumed. And vitamin C may have antibacterial effects on E. coli. So I combined the 3 topics of vitamin C, water, and testing E. coli into one science project. In the middle of my experiments, I had an unexpected outcome. I used critical thinking and reasoning I learned from SIG to figure out why this occurred and how I can carry on with my research. What happened was my highest vitamin C concentrations I used, they reacted with the pH reagent immediately, which is not supposed to happen in the test kit I used. But the majority of the experiment went well. I was excited to win first place in my school STEM fair. I then entered the Northern California STEM Fair. This year, it was virtual, so I needed to create another PowerPoint presentation and a 5-minute talk for the judges. Questions were asked by the judges after our presentations. I used, again, my graphic design skills to present my data in the best way possible. I used my leadership skills to prepare my speech and for questions I could be potentially asked. I was blessed to win the 2 prizes at the Regional Science and Engineering Fair. Support is very important as well with my projects. A lot of thanks to my school, Our Lady of the Assumption. My teachers and schoolmates have guided and supported me so much along the way. This wouldn't have been possible without them.
Lexi, I know I keep saying it every single time, but you just blow me away. That's sometimes there's not much more that I can say than that. But again, hearing you even just carry that on from the SIG experience and being able to take everything that you built on there and bring it into just the present day, but to know that you still have that support of your teachers, your family, your peers in your classes is also very refreshing to hear, and that you can continue this for you as well, since this is something it sounds like you really enjoy doing.
Thank you. I'm also very thankful for all of them, Ms. Nicole.
So with everything being said, you've had some extensive experience now with research skills, both in the traditional ones we've talked about and those essential life skills that you've been building as well from everything that you've learned through all these projects and presentations. So how can research skills, how do you think they help you in school? And how do you feel that they've helped you in extracurricular activities even outside of school?
Well, Ms. Nicole, I believe these research skills help me in school, especially in writing essays and assignments. Learning and completing assignments greatly involves critical thinking, reasoning, and having an open mind to learning new things. Research also as a process takes much time, so this teaches me patience. And I can apply this to the sports I play, including basketball and martial arts, which require much practice. And practice needs patience. And in about 1 week, I'm about to turn in my year-long project in school. And I chose researching on the different art movements, the different fine arts movements, and how they affect us in our present world.
That is amazing. So you're even taking it out of the STEM field and focusing on fine arts, which I know we talked a little bit, we got to connect last night so we could get you set up with the technology and get to know one another before we jumped into this. You were saying that even though working through the fine arts, like it's about, even if it's not a topic that maybe you necessarily not enjoy, but maybe is, if you were to rank, you know, STEM fields versus the fine arts, you'd probably choose STEM more often than not, correct?
Actually, I enjoy them both, but I'm very interested in science. I think I'm interested in both art and science, Mr. Cole.
It's nice to have that interest in both, but even just say there was a topic that you weren't as interested in, I think just developing, and we talked about this with your dad too, just that drive, that okay, this is my responsibility, this is something I need to carry out and see through to the end. And that's, I think, is equally as important as getting the outcome you want, right? It's about the process and the journey. You know, a lot of artists talk about that with the creative process. So I think the same thing goes for even just the research process. So I'm proud of you for being able to brainstorm so much and come up with all of these ideas and see them through to the end. That is very mature and noble of you. So.
I agree, Mr. Cole. Thank you.
All right, let's see. It's our last question of the night, and we got to know. Inquiring minds want to know. What do you think you want to do as a career, and how will the knowledge of research skills help you prepare for that career?
Well, my dad always jokes with me. He wants me to be a nun so I can serve a lot of people. However, I believe I can serve in a different way. I am interested in becoming a surgeon, a pediatric surgeon. Because since I was young, I've been very interested in science and surgery. And with my science fair project, do children that play video games perform better in surgery? A lot of people have been telling me I'm good with kids, especially the younger ones. Also, being in medical science, I will need research skills to write medical papers, and research skills involves knowing how to solve problems, which is very important in the medical field because just in case something goes wrong, I'll know what to do.
That sounds like a very fitting career for you, Lexi, but I know no matter what you choose, you are going to excel and be a true difference maker in this world. I know that for a fact. So we'll see where you go. We'll keep up with you and see what happens. All right. Well, Lexi, thank you. That got to the end of our questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Cole. May I make a closing statement?
Yeah, absolutely. But first, before we get into that, there is a very special message that I know that your family sent.
Oh, yes.
And so I wanted the chance to share that on their behalf. So for my participants, we got this from Lexi's family and just their reflections on time with SIG. So I want to take some time and share that with you all. In choosing this program for Lexi, we did our own research and looking for summer courses that are led by dedicated teachers and with academically driven students. The choice was clear. SIG was able to see Lexi's potential, and we have been grateful and blessed that SIG accepted Lexi to their program. It was still a very fruitful educational experience for all the students at SIG, despite the limitations of an online teaching environment. The teachers and staff were proactive and dynamic in attending to the needs of the class to reach its learning objectives. It is great that this year the classes are now in person on campus, and we couldn't agree more. We're very excited for that. All the courses at SIG prepare and hone each student's own set of interests. When it comes to classroom or academic research, one learns analytical thinking, resourcefulness, and commitment in completing the task to its realization. In the day-to-day activities of our children, research teaches them to bounce off ideas with each other, with parents, with teachers and mentors, and even to come up to experts in the field for guidance. Research teaches them to be ready for twists and turns of scientific testing and discovery. The challenge makes them practice critical reasoning. Research skills equip our children with life skills such as open-mindedness, creativity, a sense of responsibility, time management, the pursuit of goals, and resilience. Supporting our children and their drive to do things that they enjoy is a wonderful fulfillment. To the Mauricio family and to you especially, as Lexi, I couldn't agree more. Everything that you've presented to us today, I think a lot of people could look at your curriculum vitae and be like, yeah, of course, she's amazing. Did we expect anything less? But even just the confidence that you have sitting here today with me on this webinar, how many 14-year-olds can say that they're doing that right now and feeling comfortable and rocking it? So from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of Summer Institute for the Gifted and everyone in attendance, I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you to your family for letting us spend this time with you. And I know you had you wanted to close us out. So what's one final thing that you want to say on your webinar?
Again, thank you so much, Ms. Nicole. I'd like to say that I'm very happy to have this opportunity to speak to you tonight, everyone. And I consider this a blessing from God, just like the other activities I had. I hope I am able to inspire others to be involved in science and in research. And I'm happy to guide anyone in their own projects. I can share my videos of my projects with you as well. Thank you so much to SIG, to all my teachers and schoolmates. Thank you to all parents and guardians out there.
Lexi, thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful words, and just wanting to be that resource and a mentor to students that will come after you, knowing that you were once in their shoes and having these experiences. We couldn't thank you enough for that more. To our wonderful participants, like I said, we will not be, Lexi and I are live for Q&A, but we won't be doing a live Q&A with the audience, but you can submit your questions to us. I can have the opportunity to put in the chat here the email address. I'm typing that in right now to all participants. If you see that in the chat box in your control panel on the side, you'll see it says chat. You can just open that up. I did put our email address in here. You can also reply back to the email you will receive with the recording of this webinar. And as Lexi has said, she is more than welcome to share things with you. So we would be more than happy to help be the middleman in that relationship and to help either Lexi connect with you or you connect with Lexi through us. So thank you again so much for joining us. Lexi, again, from the bottom of my heart, I am so proud of you. You did excellent, not just tonight, but just in everything that you've accomplished up until now. And I am proud of you for everything you will accomplish from this point forward. And thank you, thank you, thank you for giving us your time this evening. It was truly a pleasure.
And thank you so much for having me, Ms. Nicole. I'm really happy to have this opportunity, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. So proud of you, Lexi. Thank you, everyone, again for joining us this evening. You'll get the recording in your emails. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your night. Bye.
Thank you.